Good morning from WKYT News and welcome to Kentucky Newsmakers. I'm Bill Bryant. As most Kentucky schools pause for the Christmas holiday break, we have a chance to catch up with Kentucky's Education Commissioner. Dr. Terry Holliday recently got an outstanding evaluation for his efforts to improve our schools. He didn't openly boast about that. In fact, he gave his raise after taxes to charity. That's because Holliday knows there's still a lot of work to be done and a lot of room for improvement, he says. Test scores are good for some, while others are struggling. We'll ask the commissioner about efforts to address equity. There's a new pilot program that could eventually mean the end of long breaks because of snow and icy roads. More high schoolers are getting dual credit these days and graduating, some of them with some college curriculum already done. Is that a trend we'll see more of? There's a push for legislation that would define charter schools in Kentucky. Tough audits of schools have revealed problems in Menifee County and Fayette County in recent months. Dr. Terry Holliday is here. He was a band director and then a superintendent in North Carolina before taking charge of the Kentucky Department of Education 5.5 years ago. Commissioner Holliday, welcome. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Bill, for having me on.
Thank you. Congratulations on the high marks from the Kentucky Board of Education. You seem pretty modest about that. Is that because you know the challenges that are ahead?
Well, I have a terrific board to work with, and also it's been terrific to work with a great governor and the General Assembly. But yes, we still got a lot of work to do. I think there's always work to do in education.
And to what do you credit getting the high approval of that board?
I think it's a collaboration of teachers. I think teachers have risen to the challenge. You know, if you look at it, they put in place new, more rigorous standards, assessments, accountability systems, and they've done it during a stretch of time, the last 5 or 6 years, that we hadn't had much money. As a matter of fact, we've had budget cuts, no pay raises until this school year. So I give a lot of credit to teachers and administrators out there working in the schools.
They have been asked to make a lot of changes since 2011 when the new curriculum has come down, and you're saying that they have risen to the challenge.
Well, you just look at the numbers. Back in 2009, the percentage of our high school graduates that were college ready, that means they could enter college straight into credit-bearing courses, was only 30%. This past year, that number had risen to 62%. So I like to break it down, the real numbers. That's 15,000 more high school graduates could enter college into credit-bearing courses, and it saves mom and dad about $15 million in remediation costs.
Well, and as we were mentioning, another thing is some of them are getting this dual credit in that while they're in high school, they're getting college credit for courses as well. Is that a trend that we'll see continuing, and is that based largely on economics?
Yes, it is. What we know is we can greater predict the ability of students to complete college. We have, probably half the kids who enter college don't graduate within 4 to 6 years. So what we need is those students better prepared, and by taking dual credit in high school, typically the high school teachers get accredited to teach the college level coursework. The kids get the credit, very low cost. Mom and dad save money. We have many students who graduate from high school already with a full year of college, and they're twice as likely to graduate from college, 4 times more likely to come back the second year. So we think dual credit is certainly something you'll see a lot more of in the near future.
And you said for the most part that is being done on their campus with their teachers. But in some cases they do go over to colleges or universities if they're nearby, right?
Yes, it's about 50-50. Moorhead is starting a new program, the Craft Academy, next year. It's very similar to the Gatton Academy in Western Kentucky, and the students are actually residential dual credit students there, taking high school credits and college credits. But in places like Madison County, you've got a college program on the campus of EKU. So we have a great variety of dual credit opportunities across Kentucky.
You have been seeking feedback about the Kentucky core academic standards, and particularly, of course, in the areas of English, language arts, and mathematics. And I think you take that feedback until the spring, right? With what you're hearing so far, is the response, is it positive or is there a lot of pushback?
Yes, so far we've had about over 2,000 participants on the webpage, and the positive is running about 90%, and negative 10%. And a lot of the negative doesn't give us any specificity, like which standard and what would you change and why would you change it. Usually people misunderstand and they think the standards were, President Obama and Secretary Duncan mandated these standards, but it was states and governors association that developed the standards.
And what is the typical criticism when you do get it?
Usually the criticism we get, the criticism that we could use says we need to rigor up the mathematics in the high school level, and that's probably a good thing for us to consider. Others say we're concerned about the kids may not get enough great literature exposure, so we need look at that, and others are a little concerned about the writing. They think kids need a little bit more writing. And then you always get folks who are concerned that we're not teaching cursive. Of course, that's a local school district decision, and a lot of schools still teach cursive. So those are the big four. And then on the other side, things we can't use. These standards are just a communist conspiracy to take over the minds of our children.
Are you surprised when you look at in the world that America has slipped as far as other industrialized countries, and here we're in a challenged state in Kentucky educationally? Does that, as we enter 2015 and look at that, what kind of challenge does that put before us?
The biggest challenge is youth unemployment. I just got back from a U.S. delegation visit to Switzerland, and we looked at their apprenticeship model. And if you look at the youth in Switzerland, the unemployment rate is about 2%. Practically no unemployment in Switzerland, and the average yearly salary is very high, much higher than the U.S. And what's happening there is a great education system, pushing kids into apprenticeships, that type of thing. In the U.S., we've got youth unemployment rates of 24%, and with minority kids, almost 50% in some of our large urbans. So I'm very worried that we're not preparing our kids for the jobs of the future. And then when you talk to our business community, they tell us they can't find workers to fill jobs with the skills that they need. Now, that's not just K-12, that is post-secondary, and we've all got to work together to better project what jobs are going to be there, what skills do kids need, and then we've got to have more work-based learning. Like when you and I were kids, we had an opportunity, like I worked in a little local grocery store. I learned how to work with people, learn how to show up, be on time, be nice to people at 13, 14 years old. Kids today don't get those jobs. They're not working. They're not getting work-based experience. So where are they going to learn those skills? So I heard remodeling of career technical education is going to be critical.
Well, and there was a time when there was more distributive education. There were programs where the kids were getting some credit as well as pay to be out there on those jobs. Do we need to, in some ways, go back on that?
I think we do. We're working very closely now with the Kentucky Association of Manufacturers, the Governor's Office, Economic Development, Career and Technical Education to develop more programs where kids get actual on-the-job work-based learning experiences, and the models of the distributive education, cooperative education, those models are certainly things we need to bring back to our schools.
What do you, how do you take it when you hear that, kids are learning higher math and, as you said, exposure to language arts and so forth, but cannot balance a checkbook when they leave school? These kinds of practical things that are needed in life.
Absolutely. The kids learn best in context, when they actually have to apply the knowledge they're learning in school. So it's difficult to teach them in the abstract how to balance a checkbook when they don't have any money. So the work-based learning experiences would be very helpful. If they had a little bit of money, then they quickly realize, I'm spending my money, not mom and dad's money, and if I spend too much on this, I don't have enough for this. So they need more real-world experiences.
Until recently, we had a real dropout problem in Kentucky, and now 164 of 173 of our school districts have raised the compulsory attendance age to 18. How is that working out early on?
It's doing terrific. Matter of fact, we think we'll pick up about 6 or 7 more this week, and in early January, our goal is to get every district to voluntarily agree to raise the dropout age. We gave each of these districts a planning grant because if you're going to raise the dropout age, you got to have programs in place to help the kids who drop out to recover them. And we need more career and technical education for a lot of these kids. But we have many districts that are really already working on this and doing a great job with alternative programs. If you look at the reverse of the dropout, our high school graduation rate, this past year it was at 87.4%. The national average is 80%. 87.4 will put us in the top 10 of states in the nation.
I've heard you use the term career and technical education here already a couple of times. Have we been pushing too many students the college route when there are other careers that don't necessarily require that?
Well, I bet your listeners, if they think about it a moment, they know a college graduate who's back home living in their basement and they're working in a part-time minimum wage job because they can't find anything in their field. Too often we're pushing too many students through a 4-year program without a focus on a career that will actually lead to a job that pays a living wage. That's why I'm a big proponent of the community and technical college system and the dual credit. Students who took dual credit in high school and start focusing in on an area and go through the 2-year programs and get their industry certifications, there's tons of jobs. There's 4.8 million job openings in this nation, and there are plenty of those jobs that require skills that they might not be able to get through 4-year, but they can actually get through 2-year. And quite often, these mid-level skills jobs, you make more money with a 2-year specialized degree, and you can always go back and finish the 4-year or post-graduate later on.
And many do once they taste that success, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. As you look at kids who are getting ready and are trying to identify, and their parents are trying to help them identify what it is they want to do in life, at what point, Commissioner, is it that those initial decisions should probably be made?
Well, I think as early as middle school, we ought to kind of at least have a plan for high school and beyond. I ought to at least start thinking about, I'm going to do a nursing degree, or I'm going to go into automotive, or I'm going to go into 4-year in psychology after that. We ought to at least start thinking about it. You can always reverse course. Our nation's public education system is like a superhighway. You can get on, you can get off, you can get on, you can get off at many places. But if you don't have a plan, you won't end up anywhere.
We're with Kentucky's Education Commissioner, Dr. Terry Holliday, and we'll have a lot more questions. In fact, we'll talk some specifics about some issues in some school districts, and we're coming back on WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers in just a moment. Welcome back to Kentucky Newsmakers. Kentucky Education Commissioner Terry Holliday continuing with us. There have been some high-profile audits lately, certainly the Fayette County public school system, which has gotten a lot of attention, as well as in Menifee County. Do the results of those audits concern you?
Absolutely. I applaud State Auditor Adam Edlin. I think Adam's done a terrific job. When he came into office, he said he wanted to look closer at some of our school districts, and he's uncovered quite a few incidents of fiscal mismanagement. Dayton Independent, several other counties. The thing I want the public to remember, though, is 98% of our schools are doing great and have great leadership and well managed physically. We do have some problems. Just a couple of years ago, we had to basically close down a small independent Monticello because they were broke. They were bankrupt. And we merged it with Wayne County. And as we move forward, we've got now several counties we're worried about that are very close to not being able to make payroll for their teachers, and we do not have a vehicle to close down a county and merge it with another county. So this session of General Assembly, you may hear some conversations about how do you handle a school district in a county that basically goes bankrupt, and how do you merge it with a neighboring county.
So, Commissioner, you would be supportive of that in those situations?
Yes. If you look at a couple of the districts we're probably talking about, you look at the birth rate is declining every single year. And so you're looking at a school district that has no tax base, has declining enrollment, and at what point in time does a system hit the break-even point where we can not provide services kids need? And that's when it's critical to look at some partnership with a neighboring school district to provide the courses, the programs, and the services that kids need.
Fayette County has a big decision ahead to decide on a new superintendent to take charge next summer. What's your recommendation as far as the kind of person they should be looking for?
Well, that's the toughest and most important decision a local school board can make, is getting the right superintendent. In Fayette County, I hope they get someone that is very focused on closing the achievement gap. I think that's probably a top priority, and then I think they need someone that can build relationships with the community, and even more important, build relationships at central office and with the schools.
There's a pilot program to address some of these snow days, and there were so many missed last year, an awful winter. 13 of those districts are trying something out that is online learning on those days.
Yes, online learning is all over the world, MOOCs and these kinds of things. So why shouldn't we figure out how to do this on snow days where we can keep learning going? Now, these folks are going to be very accountable. We're tracking, monitor the results. We're real excited, and looks like we may need it this week, maybe Thursday or Friday.
The superintendent the state school board went into showing its support for teachers and as far as the retirement system. They just wanted to say that they want to go on record as that being fully funded.
Yes, it's looking like the retirement system, the solution right now on the table is a $3.3 billion bond to shore up the retirement system. The retirement system is critical for recruitment and retention of teachers.
All right. Commissioner, thank you for coming. Appreciate it very
Bill.
much. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. We certainly hope you have a nice Christmas week ahead, and we'll be here with the latest on WKYT News.